Here we have the 15-minute price chart for GameStop Corporation, stock ticker GME. Here we can see a very strong surge to the upside in share prices for GME. This has been something that we've been calling for quite some time here. We were previously seeing a sideways trading range, and as we can see here, prices have kind of started the trading session here with a gap to the top side. This is a very strong price movement, and there are several reasons that this is going to be important for GME traders going forward. So first, we have to look at exactly what happened here. So to begin the market, we were trading at roughly the midpoint of this trading range. Our suggestion here was mostly that we would need to see a break of this range, in one direction or the other, in order to start to see a forceful move. It starts to become very difficult to break out of this moving average cluster once you're caught inside of it. But as we can see here, the initial break to the top side, we did see a closing period to the top side just as markets closed during yesterday's trading session. So we did get a close outside of this exponential moving average cluster, and that was encouraging, and it did point to which direction this break would ultimately occur. When you start to see these constricted trading ranges like this, the expectation becomes one where in whichever direction the price actually breaks finally, the move itself is expected to be forceful. It's not expected to be kind of a mundane, boring move. Because as prices are constricted in these areas, there's a lot of tension and energy that's sort of building in the market. It's a period of indecision, and the market is kind of waiting for the next direction. And then when that next direction comes, it tends to be very forceful. A trading range itself doesn't tell you which direction prices are going to move. You could also move to the downside. But when we saw this daily close here, this session close above the moving average cluster, which was tightening to an extreme point here, we did see a move to the top side rather than a close to the downside. This is where markets closed here. As you can see, this is the price gap. So this following candle is the market open. Even though we were moving a bit to the downside, the closing price for a trading period is much more important than any other time during that entire trading session. So the close from this session was outside of this trading range, and what was outside of this moving average cluster here, and the close was to the top side. So this did give us a signal about which direction this price break would come. As we can see here, the move did force a break of this prior trading range. So this is important because it means that we've seen a period of indecision in the market now, and the market has essentially made up its mind. We now know that the next movement is higher. So the only question from here is where are we going next, and how far can this extend? Okay, so first, what I would point to here would be the next projected support level, which now comes in at roughly 25.50, 25.60. Because the reason we would point to this would be the fact that we've got some consolidation here. This is sort of a consolidation zone here. We're getting a bit of a reversal pattern in the candlesticks themselves. And then the 20-period exponential moving average is also quickly rising into this area. So you wouldn't really expect to see much of a decline below this area, because there's a confluence of signals that are developing in this area, which suggests that support, is starting to build here. And this is encouraging because what we're seeing here now is a support zone that's at higher and higher levels. And this is what we've been pointing to all along here. The initial support zone came in at roughly 22.30. Then we started to build a bit here. 23.15 was roughly the area, and then we saw sort of a triple bottom that formed at roughly 23.80. So in my view, 23.80 is really kind of the key level to the downside. I mean, if you were a short seller and you were looking, for a reason to get excited here, what I would really need to see in that situation would be a break below this 23.80 area. Because at that point you would be breaking back below this moving average cluster. You'd likely be closing below there too, because it would be a very forceful move and it would take some time to do this. So ultimately here, this is my kind of real line in the sand as far as determining whether or not there's a cause for concern or not with this stock. So currently, I do view support as moving up to the 2560 area roughly, and then a break back below 2510 would probably signal another period of sideways consolidation. We would probably fall back into the moving average cluster at that point, and then we would probably see more sideways trading activity. But that's not the case currently. We did have a significant break here to the top side. And this is being confirmed by an increase in trading volumes. I mean, you can see here, this is a fairly forceful increase in buy positions in positive trading volume, and it far outweighs any of these red bars here. I mean, these red bars here are much smaller in comparison. These are encouraging developments here, and they do suggest that we will start to see higher prices. To the top side, the level that I'm really watching next comes in at this would be the June 27th high, which came in at 2670. We're not quite there yet. We're still trading below 2650. But this is kind of the next line in the sand here. I mean, if there's going to be a failure near term, in my view, this is where it would be happening. So that doesn't mean I'm suggesting that it will happen. I'm just saying that, if we do start to see price failures into 2670, it would be due to the fact that we are seeing, a prior resistance zone that has developed in this area. I'm not saying that I think it will stop here. I'm just saying, this is an area where we could start to see a slowdown. But if we do see a break above here, that would be a highly bullish event. It would suggest that this entire period here of sideways consolidation has completed itself, and we're resuming the uptrend reversal that has really been in place ever since we saw these prior declines back here. I mean, this dominant downtrend here could be on the verge of completing itself. This is significant downtrend, significant downtrend activity here. In multiple steps here. So, currently what I'm looking at is the 2670 level. I do think that if we see a break here, we're definitely looking back toward a test of at least the 30 level relatively soon. But more importantly, what it would suggest is that, this period of sideways consolidation has run its course. And this would suggest that the prior periods of decline, the prior downtrend, has completed itself. And we're now looking for an upside reversal. This outlook will continue to remain true as long as this positive reading in the RSI indicator remains valid. And we don't see any major reversals from there. So this is the current market outlook for GameStop Corporation, stock ticker GME.